Good morning everybody, this is Lara with your Monday to Friday update for Bitcoin, Ethereum and XRP. We will be launching a new analysis for Ethereum on a regular basis as a subscription on our website, Pure Elliott Wave, very soon. I'm hoping it's going to be next week. When we do that, we're going to offer a grandfather rate that will never be offered again, and it'll be really reasonable. You'll probably be able to pay for that subscription within a week. If you don't want to miss out on getting that grandfather rate, click on the link below, sign up to our notification list. We will email you when we know what date we'll be launching that new service, and we'll email you on the date as well so you don't miss out. We'll only offer it for 24 hours. For now, I'm able to give you Elliott Wave analysis of Ethereum for free, but that will end very soon on this YouTube channel. But when it ends, just to make sure that you're not left out, I'll be adding Solana analysis for you, and we'll still give you technical analysis of Ethereum. Let's step back for Bitcoin and have a quick look at the weekly time frame, because I see quite a few people, mostly on Twitter, stating Bitcoin's in a bear market and complaining about the strength of recent downward movement. I think they're looking maybe at 15-minute time frames. I don't know, because I'm not seeing what they're seeing. I'm seeing a bull market. Here's your basic definition of a bullish movement: higher highs, higher lows. And here is the last higher low within that pattern. It has to be prior to the highest high, while price remains above 38,512.34. That pattern of high highs and higher lows will remain intact. For the very short term, at the last highest high, we don't have a bearish reversal pattern here. This is not a shooting star because the wick is less than twice the length of the body. It's not a dark cloud cover because this body has closed less than half the distance into this body. But these three candlesticks about the high do create an evening doji star, and they did do that within extreme conditions, an extreme upward trend, and deeply overbought RSI. However, that trend, this time frame, has only very recently reached a very extreme, and RSI's not been deeply overbought for very long. And if you study Bitcoin's previous strong bullish runs, you'll notice that toward the middle, or even before the middle, conditions become very extreme, and they can remain so for quite a long period of time. This market has extreme volatility. Its trends can reach very extreme, and conditions can reach very extremely overbought, and that can remain so for quite a while price travels a considerable distance. It hasn't been extreme long enough for me to expect that this bullish run is over. So this bearish reversal pattern is probably just a short-term reversal pattern. Now here's a problem I keep pointing out with candlestick reversal patterns. They don't tell us one of two things. They don't tell us the direction of the next trend, and they don't tell us how long the next trend will last. So this bearish reversal pattern isn't telling us what direction the next trend is going to be. Is it going to be down or is it going to be sideways? And it doesn't tell us how long the next trend will last. So it doesn't tell us if we're going to get a full 180-degree reversal to a new bear market, or are we just going to get a short-term sideways movement. This following downward week, lower low, lower high, could have been the result of this bearish reversal pattern. This downward week doesn't have good follow-through from this bearish reversal pattern. The candlesticks close green, and it's got a bullish long lower wick, and it's still finding support at 60,700. And so far, the sideways movement here looks like a consolidation within an upward trend, which, as I keep saying, is a normal, to be expected, healthy part of a bull market. We need to see price break above resistance or below support out of this consolidation to have some confidence in the direction of the next trend. And if you're bearish, you really do need to wait to see support below 60,700 confidently broken before you could really have reasonable confidence in a bearish view. That has not happened yet. Assume the trend remains the same, up, until proven otherwise. The last completed downward week has a little decline in volume. It's got that bullish long lower wick though, and it did close green. The upward trend reached very extreme, but not as extreme as ADX can get. ADX can get above 60 or even 70 when this market has a strong bullish run. ADX is now declining. This little consolidation has pulled RSI back down from deeply overbought. It is just again overbought, but there's still quite a long way to go before it gets as extreme as it can get for this market. The little consolidation has pulled money flow nicely back into neutral territory. ATR continues to show a strong increase. Volatility remains with the market. Price remains within this rectangle, finding support at 60,700 and resistance above 73,100 to 71,500. At this low down here, For the 19th of April, there's a very long, bullish, long lower wick. The upper wick's a little bit too high for this to be a dragonfly doji, but it is a bullish, long lower wick, continuing to find support. The last completed upward session has a decent size green body, and there's some push from volume, so we're starting to see a little bit of strength up off this low. That candlestick at the low with the bullish long lower wick did have some push from volume. Volume for that session was stronger than several sessions prior, and yesterday's upward session again has a little bit of a push from volume compared to the 2 sessions prior, although overall as price moves sideways within the consolidation, overall volume is declining, but we are seeing a little bit of strength and some upward movement for the short term. That's good to see. These markets can be particularly weak off their lows, so you might have to be a bit patient and wait maybe a few days, maybe even a few weeks before you can be really confident that you're seeing real strength up off lows, and then you can be confident that the previous low will be sustained. On balance, volume remains within resistance and support as price remains within that rectangle. There is no signal yet from on balance volume. It is nearing resistance though. If we have another couple of upward sessions, it's going to get there. If it gets up to the yellow resistance line, that may assist to halt a rise in price, particularly if price is at resistance at the same time. If on balance volume breaks above the yellow line, that would be a strong bullish signal, because this yellow line has 5 tests, is horizontal and is reasonably long held. It has very strong technical significance. ADX is declining. There is no longer a downward trend indicated for Bitcoin for the short term. My Elliott Wave count for Ethereum remains exactly the same as yesterday. I still expect it's most likely a zigzag is complete for another second wave correction, finding support at the lower edge of the Elliott channel. I now expect overall upward movement for Ethereum, a new high for the short term above 3413.05 by any amount at any time frame would add confidence to my labelling of minute wave 2 complete here. That's because upward movement could not be a 4th wave correction within minuet C. You can't label it 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. If 4 moves into 1 and breaches that Elliott wave, breaks the Elliott wave rule, you discard that idea. So that's why this price point gives me confidence the correction is most likely over. I would have further confidence when I see a full green daily candlestick above and not touching the upper edge of the Elliott channel. That will meet my very conservative definition of a channel breach, adding further confidence that this movement is over and the next movement is then underway. Technicals for Ethereum at these lows, we have a bullish piercing pattern and a dragonfly doji finding support about 3050. Look now for upward movement to find resistance at 3680. The last completed green candlestick now has some push from volume compared to the previous 2 candlesticks. There is a little bit of strength in yesterday's upward movement, which is a good indication for bulls, although overall volume does continue to decline. Today there is a very weak bullish signal from on balance volume as it breaks above this little resistance line, but it's very weak because the line only has 2 tests, is very short and has a reasonable slope. So I would really not give that much weight. It's the tiniest indication that a low may be in place, but it doesn't really add much weight at all to that view. ADX is declining. There's no longer a downward trend indicated for Ethereum today. With no trend indicated, using a model of stochastics plus support and resistance, stochastics almost reached oversold. Price was at support. Stochastics is now moving higher with positive slopes. Expect overall an upward swing to resistance and stochastics to continue toward overbought. And when stochastics and price get higher, we'll see if ADX again indicates a trend. My Elliott Wave count for XRP now tells us that the correction for Intermediate Wave 2 is most likely to be over. I had previously considered what if we had 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 4 can't move into Wave 1 price territory. Yesterday, price moved slightly above this point. The rule is absolute, so a new high by any amount at any time frame, not a close, just a new high above 0.5688, and validates the idea that minute wave C may be continuing lower, because this can't be a 4th wave correction because it can't move into 1st wave price territory. So now I label minute wave C a complete 5 wave impulse. 1, 2, 3, brief, shallow 4th wave, sharp 5th wave. I do have another way of labeling intermediate 2. This way is a double combination, zigzag, X, regular flat. It could also be a single zigzag, impulse, regular contracting triangle, impulse for C. However, this triangle is problematic. A barrier triangle has a BD trend line which is essentially flat and should have an AC trend line which slopes. A contracting triangle should have an AC trend line that slopes and a BD trend line that slopes, but this one does not have an AC trend line that slopes. The rule for wave C for a contracting triangle is it may not move beyond the end of wave A. So technically it can reach exactly the same point, and this one has. So technically this is still a contracting triangle. It just looks wrong because the AC trend line has no slope. That's not a rule that it needs to have a slope, that's a guideline. The rule is where C ends in relation to A, and that rule is met. C has not moved beyond the end of A. But the other problem with the triangle is wave E. E waves of Elliott wave triangles most commonly fall short of the AC trend line by a small margin and less commonly overshoot the AC trend line. When your E wave is substantially short of the AC trend line and it's very brief compared to the other triangle trend lines, then your triangle is forced. This is probably not a triangle. I just want to point this out just to go over some of the little details of Elliott wave triangles. They're pretty tricky structures, and when you're labeling an Elliott wave triangle, check the rules really carefully. In my book, Pure Elliott Wave, I've got a section there where I've listed the rules really carefully, and I've used very, very clear language. Make sure you meet all of those rules. Use it like a checklist to make sure your Elliott wave count is correct. Technicals for XRP, bullish long lower wick, finding support about 46, and now broke back above technically significant resistance at 54.55 cents. That now becomes support. Look for next resistance above at 60 cents. It does look like XRP may have found a low back down here. Price is moving higher with a little bit of push from volume. Yesterday's upward session is the strongest session we've seen in over a week. Bulls have returned to the market, pushing price higher. This is good to see and suggests XRP may have found a low. ADX no longer indicates there's a downward trend for XRP. The previous downward trend did not reach extreme, but RSI did reach oversold. This doesn't happen often for XRP at the daily time frame, and it does tend to be associated with sustained lows. ATR continues to show an increase as price moves higher, so there's a bit of support from volume and an increase in range. Both of those together, that looks bullish. That's it from me with your quick update today. I hope everyone's having a lovely day.